Go.
So what annoys me the most is the ancient books that we have to read in high school. And these books were released in 1926, 1954, in 1500s. Okay? And now I understand that even though these books are old, we're still reading them because they're classics, right? And for book lovers, classics means books that are timeless, books that they can relate to no matter what age, whether it's 20-year-old or 80 years old. So that meaning isn't the same for like students. For students, it's completely different. For student, classics means books that have more interesting covers than freaking content inside, and simple references that they don't understand, and jokes and puns that their English teacher has to explain to them. And if it's Shakespeare, you have no hope of understanding the dialect. And by the end of the book, you're either going to absolutely hate it or you're going to love it, which is very few, mind you. So, for starters, we'll go with Shakespeare. First question, why are we even reading this in English class? Shakespeare was supposed to be a playwright, not a author. He wrote plays, and these were amazing plays. There's been so many remakes, but they were plays, so why are we reading him in English class? And then the dialect. This guy was living in 1500s. This is like 2013. Why are we still reading like things that were written in 1500s? We have no hope of understanding this. In Romeo and Juliet, I could not read more than a page without using the notes on the sides, and those were a lot of notes. And there's these references to the lifestyle back then, okay? So in Romeo and Juliet again, this servant bites his thumb at another servant from the enemy house, okay? And apparently it's this big deal. He's like, did you just bite your thumb at me? And they're having this argument whether the servant bit his thumb at the other servant or not. And I was just like wondering, why does this even matter? Why are we reading this? And apparently it's the same as sticking up your middle finger at them. Apparently. Anyways, not only that, the meaning of Romeo and Juliet has changed a lot apparently. When Shakespeare wrote it, he meant to be making fun of the impulsive young love there and the stupidity of it, the changes. And right now, English teachers are taking it freaking seriously. And okay, so let's just move on from Shakespeare. For Shakespeare's two classics we've already read, okay? Is To Kill a Mockingbird even a novel? It's a childhood story. It's not a novel. It's not a novel, people. And Lord of the Flies. No one even knew what the title meant. It was just confusing. Okay? Just confusing. In 1926, maybe you knew what that meant, but I mean 1954, sorry. And okay, books, people, I understand we have to read that because of the themes, okay? But modern books have good themes too. Miss McNamara, when she was teaching her English class, she taught them this book, and this really famous books that teenagers read for fun, okay? So they're reading Maximum Rights by James Patterson, who's a very distinguished author, okay? And the story's about these teenagers and kids who have like 2% avian, so they have avian DNA, so they have wings. And they're reading about how they've been genetically modified. And this is a book that teenagers do for fun, but they're reading it in English class. And this is great because the style, the context, the pacing is amazing. And the theme is something that we can relate to as a modern society. Is science blurring lines of ethics and morals? Something we actually should consider. By the end, I understand the school board isn't going to change anything, but I think they should consider making a compromise. Because honestly, we shouldn't read... we should have a compromise, we really should, between a classic and a modern novel with dialect and references and jokes that we actually, as students, understand.